I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're speaking with E. Jack Neumann, the author of the Chronicle of Aladdin. He is not your typical scribe. He's a renowned saxophonist known for doing things in a different way. Neumann has taken his creative talents to the literary world, and he has penned an irreverent satire manual teeming with divine deities and real revolutions. We're delighted to have Edward in the spotlight today. We thank the folks at Prime 7 Media for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel. Edward, thank you so much for being our guest today here on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me, Logan. I'm delighted to be here.
Oh, I'm delighted to have you. Loved your book. It's such a creative take on Aladdin and a lot of different aspects of our culture and society. Tell us a little bit, give us the big picture of what the Chronicle of Aladdin is all about.
It's about the revolution that has to have us collaborate. So we have, each of us, we have certain conditions for the democracy to work collaboratively. And we surely have some sort of negotiation with our destinies, isn't it? So on that road, we have books. I am a great friend of any guy or any person that reads. It's a wonderful object and is a wonderful idea. And it is too bad that we take so much pride in the Gutenberg revolution. And it is not so often that we spend time with our wonderful books. Absolutely. And all I want to do is produce an object that my fans and anybody's fans could really treasure and say, wow, what a great book. I want to follow this guy. I want to listen Synthi jazz. I want to hear more about this revolution. Am I in here? Am I in there? I believe if anybody's there. I think a great book. And I'm so happy for our meeting today.
Oh, absolutely. Now, let's say you were Aladdin and presented with this genie and you had your wishes before you. What would be some of the wishes you would ask for?
Well, Aladdin has got the lamp and now he's doing the gesture and the genie is there and he says, I need perhaps more vodka. There is this old saying, you know, it's an old joke. The guy has the magic fish. He gets the fish. He gets the proposition, you know, and he says, "I want all the seas in the world to become vodka." Oh my God! Okay, he's on the sea. He checks the sea. It's vodka. Okay. The second one is, I want all the rivers in the world to be vodka. Okay, all the rivers in the world are now vodka. Everybody is happy. Now there's another one. The last desire is another small one, another vodka, but make it special. So yeah, it's an old joke. It's a kind of an extreme joke, but it's coming from here. I'm on the other side of the world, man. What I try to do is to have a handshake between cultures, and that's my way to do it. And sometimes you have to start with vodka.
Right.
So
it's always a good start. I like mine with a couple of olives straight up in a martini glass. Yeah, for sure. Sounds good, my friend. Now, what about asking about Jesus? Do you think Aladdin should have asked about knowing more about Jesus or meeting Jesus or seeing Jesus or God?
Well, we are all blessed to believe our own versions of miraculous. And it is possible to think of the world before Jesus. Is it or is it not?
Yeah, I
Is
think you
it,
can. You can think of like the cavemen and all that, sure.
it's a very long shot from zero AD to the caveman. There's another few thousand years of history which are sort of awaiting from the library, So it is yes, I cannot say that I wish that he did.
Mm,
I do not wish that he did. I believe the story as it is, the story of Aladdin, is um is a great story.
mm,
That's why, and it is a story that we still perceive when we still have, and it is a working story. The working story in politics is not the story of Jesus. The working story in politics is definitely not Jesus, and it's definitely Aladdin. It is the moment when it is a very special moment in democracy when people are voting. Okay, so they have to make some sort of this decision, and there is some sort of mechanism for them to find out. There's one way they perceive and they express their desires, and the God's blessing is maybe awarding in a different manner.
mm. Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about your transition from music to writing. Are they kind of interconnected, I guess, in a way? I mean, a lot of your words seem very lyrical to me, for sure.
I s- as an improviser, I am specialized. I am keen to see harmony around me, especially in the form of other musicians with their instruments in their hands, but not necessarily. So it can happen during a dialogue when someone is writing a song. What gets my gear going? Well, just like Bob Dylan and Woody Guthrie or I don't know, Vladimir Utyosov, we have this activity which is called songwriting. Okay, so we, while trying to become relevant during the writing of a song, there is some sort of a harmony that we that involves our very own personas, our very own life, our girlfriends, our teachers, our parents,
Yeah.
and basically each song is a sum of very personal um, feelings,
Mhm.
traits, emotions, and the good news is that God exists. God,
Mm,
there is God, and it is never. The bad news is God is not 100% the God that we have in the church. The
mm,
God exists outside the church as well. So it is wonderful that we go to church in the morning, Sunday morning, and we have the service, and it's this is one role as a Christian, but the Chronicle of Aladdin is about the role of Christian that we fulfill outside the church. When we are not Christians, we are not priests, we are not even being called Christians. In order to be a good Christian and to be an effective Christian, it is not necessary to say I am a Christian. On the contrary, sometimes it is very necessary for one Christian to say, "No, I'm not. I have my bad guy hat. I have my pistols, and So there
exactly.
is. So it is. Being a Christian is not some. It's not a commodity. It is an active duty, and everything we do it counts to that. Okay, so
Absolutely.
if you do a master's degree, okay, is it Christian or is it not Christian? What an amazing question. I cannot do non-Christian things. I could go to the Middle East and live in Muslim, let's say Islamic, in a different culture. I could go to, let's say, New Zealand and spend time in some sort of tribes, but I cannot stop looking for Christ and seeing Christ and recognizing Christ
Right.
wherever I go, even between peoples that maybe have never heard of him.
Absolutely. Before we leave you today, what would you like the folks at home to know about your book?
Don't go read it. It's a very difficult book to read. It is a very necessary book, but it is not, I'm not very proud on the leisure part of it. It is not, it is not an easy read. Do you know what I mean, Logan?
Yeah, well, it's a very deep book. It's got a lot of content packed in there. It's a lot of heavy thoughts. So I think that's important. You talk about revolution a lot in your book. Tell the folks at home what you mean about the revolution. Do you mean it literally? Do you mean it figuratively? What type of revolution would you like to see?
It is very easy for Romanians to talk literal about revolution
Mhm.
because it is something that happened like 24 years ago.
Yeah.
And it, as a historical phenomenon, we cannot help to notice that it is the first televised revolution.
Mm.
In 1999, like 50 years after the birth of the television, we have a televised revolution. This is what it was known at the moment, at the time, isn't it?
Mm.
As far as I remember, maybe you as a journalist got that quotation, and I took this quotation very personal,
Yeah.
and I played with this idea. I played with this idea that revolution is going on. It's something to do with the media. It's something to do with the government, and also has obviously something to do with you.
Mm.
And in which ways? In which ways to do that is something to talk about. And we have so many. We have so, and the idea is not to. I wish that my readers. Um, I wish that they took the opportunities to use the information because it is very dense. Just buy the book, okay? Buy the book and let the book read you because it is that kind of book that you do not take from one side from A to B. It takes you from A to B, but it can also you can take it also in discussions with other people because I was very careful when I wrote it down and of course, I have to apologize to some people that do not are not willing to, let's say, that they are not willing to read between the lines. You
Right.
know, for a Christian to read between the lines, it may be easier for other people. You know, and this is something that I wish to bring to a foreign culture. I believe satire has been brought to the world in a Christian country.
Hmm.
Okay, and it is an expression. It has a special expression for Christians and a special another expression for Muhammad and Charlie. You know, there's a big chunk in the book about Charlie and Muhammad, and which is has an angle on what happened in Paris. And yeah, it's kind of deep.
Absolutely.
It is very sad. You know, for Romanians, it's not an easy talk about the revolution.
Right.
They say, "Oh, wait, so many people died, and we have so okay." Uh, it's very unfortunate, but at some point we come to the point in which we say those guys did not die for a bad cause. It is
Yeah.
a good cause. It was something that we can remember. It is something that we can take lessons from, and it is something that we can go out into the world and say, "Man, we've got this. This is what we are set off to do." You know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The name of the book is The Chronicle of Aladdin. It is written by E. Jak Neumann. It is a heavy book. It is a deep book. It's a philosophical book. It is a book about satire, and it is a book that will capture your imagination and have you think about things a little bit differently And that's a great thing. Edward, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you so much, Logan, for having me.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.